Welcome everyone to the course of learning Bahasa Indonesia for Dummies. So my name is Teddy and let's get started. Okay, the first lesson that we want to talk about is about greeting. So there are some vocabulary that you have to know and you have to use it most of the time if you want to talk with someone from Indonesia or when you want to visit Indonesia in this case. Okay, first of all is about normal greeting, good morning. So in Bahasa Indonesia we talk about good morning. In Bahasa Indonesia we say selamat pagi. So for some of you maybe it's good to start with some um, slow kind of way. So if you see here there is some thing here, selamat pagi. So if you see here good morning, then you have to say it selamat pagi. Okay, for good afternoon or good midday, we call it selamat siang. So the same. So if you mention here, if you notice that selamat is good for greeting, and morning is pagi, and midday or afternoon is siang, and then the next one is good evening. Here we call it selamat malam. For evening here we call it malam. But it's very kind of different. If you notice, there is one more for good night. So that is different things. We call it selamat tidur, kind of that. Okay, but you have to kind of easy way. You have to remember that good here for all the greeting we call it selamat. If you know that in the other languages, like in Filipino languages, they call salamat for thank you. So we will talk it later. Okay, for the next one is the goodbye. For goodbye, we call it salamat tinggal. So if you notice that good, so you have to remember that. So good means salamat, and then tinggal means goodbye. Bye. Bye is tinggal. So in this case, if you are living, so you have to use this, selamat tinggal. But in the other occasions, like if you want to, I mean, somebody else is leaving you, in this case, you have to say selamat jalan. So this is for saying to someone, take care and so on, kind of that. And the next one, we go on to thank you. So this is the things that I said before, that we call it terima kasih. So terima kasih. So this one we call it thank you. And then for the next one, once you finish say thank you, you always say you're welcome. So in this case, we call it kembali or sama-sama. This one actually is not really kind of common, but normally we call it sama-sama because yeah, we want to say yes, you're welcome, something like that. And then this is very common if you meet someone that you know or that you recognize. You normally want to greet them, how are you? Or how do you do? Then we call it apa kabar. Apa kabar. Apa kabar. Um yeah, if you have some problem then you have to say excuse me. Then this one means that you want to do something else, then just say permisi, or you can also say maaf. Actually, there is another words that is related to the other one. Here is maaf. So in this case, maaf here can also be meaning like I'm sorry. But in this kind of greeting, we can also say the same way for maaf. Normally, the common words that we or people use are permisi instead of maaf. If you want to go to toilet or if you want to go somewhere else during the presentation and so on, you call it excuse me or permisi. Okay, for that one, I guess it's kind of easy for all of you, I guess. And we can go on to the next lesson. For lesson 2 is about communicating. So in this case, for communicating, normally you say, do you speak English? If you want to make sure that your someone that you want to talk to can also talk in the same language as yours. In this case, is English. Or maybe do you speak Indonesian language? So in this case, you can say to them bisa bicara bahasa Inggris. So do you speak here means bisa means can you or do you, and then bahasa Inggris is English itself, and bicara here is the verb speak. So bisa here can you or do you, and then bicara here speak, and then bahasa Inggris is English. And for the opposite, I don't speak Indonesian. Let's say if you say, do you speak English? Yes, I do. And the other says that, do you speak Indonesian? No, I don't speak Indonesian. So in this case, you can also say that saya tidak bisa bicara bahasa Indonesia. So if you notice that don't speak, don't hear means tidak bisa. So if you notice that to you means bisa, if you don't, then just say tidak bisa. So not here is tidak, and bisa means to, don't, kind of that. And again, if you notice that bicara here again we use as the same vocabulary for speak, and then bahasa Indonesia here is Indonesian language. And if you have some problem during communicating to your friend or someone from Indonesia, then you can also say, I don't understand. So you can probably say, saya means you, or I, sorry. And then tidak, again, don't. You can always say tidak or tidak bisa. This is also true. And then understand here, mengerti. So, saya, you can also say saya tidak bisa mengerti. That's also true. Or just make it short, saya tidak mengerti. I don't understand. That's kind of easy. Okay, for the next lesson, lesson 3, we go on for requesting basic assistance. If you have some problems, you want to ask somebody else to help you. Yeah. So normally you can say, can you help me? So in Indonesian language we say bisa bantu saya. So if you notice that, so if you notice that bisa here, again we use it a lot. So this also true for do you or can you. So bisa. Normally we don't put any kind of this you. If you notice that you means kamu in Indonesian language. Normally we kind of neglect that because when you talk to someone, it's always he or she will be the object of the conversation. So this kind of thing you also can say bisa kamu bantu saya. This also can be, but it's kind of unnecessary in this case. So you can just say bisa bantu. Bantu here is help, and then me here is saya. So bisa bantu saya, and then you can say, can you help me, please? So, okay, in the other case, if you want to put something like please, so normally we can also say tolong in Indonesian language. So tolong here is T-O-L-O-N-G. sorry, and G. And for the next one, if you want to go to toilets or bathroom, so again, you just see also here where is the bathroom. And in Indonesian language we call it di mana, means where is. And then kamar kecil here is can be also toilet or can also be bathroom in this case. Yeah, if you notice that we can, if we break down a little bit, so where is means di mana, and then how much is this? If you want to ask for the price of some of the things that you want to buy, then you can also say berapa harganya. Berapa harganya means how much, and this is ini. Let's say you found already what you need and then you want to take it and I want this. You can also say it, I want this, saya mau yang ini, or saya mau ini. Yeah. So if you translate it, I here is saya, and then want is mau, and then this again we use the same word ini. So if you feel hungry, then you also can say I want to eat. The same thing that we use. So I want, saya mau, and to eat we call it makan. So saya mau makan. So it's the same thing when you say I want to eat. So make sure that you also put some objects in the end of your sentence so that people will understand what you want to eat. Because if you say you just want to eat what? Something like that. Okay? So I think it's not really hard as well. So just go on for the next lesson. So this is for lesson 4. You're getting close to home. If you're getting home, then you normally you also say that my address is, or in Indonesian language we call it alamat saya. So address here, if you notice that address means alamat. Alamat. And then my here is saya. So if you notice that English structures is DM, means that the the subject is always in the front side and then followed by the object that refer to this subject. So in Indonesian language we do it in different or in the reverse way, that the object here first and then refer to the subject itself. Okay, the next one is please take me to. So if you want to ask somebody else to get or pick you up to or go to your home, then you can just say tolong. Okay, the things that I have said before, please means tolong in Indonesian language, and then take me, antar saya, then to, here's ke. So also make sure that you want to put some object in the end of your sentence so that it will be clear as well. Okay, so this kind of very short and brief introduction, and also how to learn Indonesian language, kind of easy, I guess. But some of the people will not say or will not think the same way. So why do some people learn easily and others have so much more difficulties in this case? Okay, this is not about ages. Yeah, kind of that, but just talk about if you have a good desire and you have a good or persistency in this case and wants to learn kind of new languages, so whatsoever your age, it doesn't really matter. Okay, first of all, there are some hints that we can you can follow in this case in order to make you be more expert in this case for learning new languages, whatsoever languages that you want. So first of all, you have to set aside a certain time for study each day. You can say after morning coffee or on the way to work during lunch, whatever you can maintain without too much stretching in this case. So the thing is that you have to commit in one certain time for study each day. So you cannot just say or do it on Monday and then Tuesday kind of boring and you kind of lazy and so on. Then you just delay it and just don't do that. By the end of the month, you only have 2 or 3 sessions or 2 to 3 times practicing. This will not help you. So you have to commit on a certain time for each day. The second one is the you have to spend time with words. Let's say you can make a flashcard or use them until you remember easily, then exchange them for others. So in this case, you learn every day a new words that if you use it a lot, then it will help you by the end of the day in order to make you able to speak in that kind of language. So spend time with words. The third one, you have to listen a lot. So keep the radio on, watch TV in the language that you want to learn, in this case in Indonesian language, and also even without being aware of the subtitle in this case or the sound of the language. So I have some experience actually when I start learning um, English and also the one my second language, which is the Mandarin in this case. So the thing is that I started learning kind of listen to radio in that particular language and watch the movie in that particular language without seeing the subtitle of the movie itself. So it's kind of easy way, but yeah, it's kind of hard in the beginning, but you can try a little bit, and then by the end of the day, you will realize that it will help you a lot. And the fourth one is ask others to correct you when you make a mistakes. And most of the Asian don't feel completely comfortable with this. Yeah, at least. So for some of you who are not Asians, you might think that, this is ridiculous. Yes, of course, you have to ask others to correct you when you make a mistakes. So don't be ashamed of that, but just do it. And the fifth one is to experiment with new words or new patterns. Even though you are making mistake, you need to use it before it really becomes a part of you. So you can also use some of the new words and then combine it with the new patterns and then just say it to your friend and then ask them what do they feel about that. Do you pronounce it correctly or do you say it in the correct manner? And then afterwards you can use them again and again and again as your own pattern. So in this case, you learn that again. And the sixth one is be active. Talk to everyone you meet. Let's say taxi driver in this case, or the other people that you meet in the restaurants or in the shop, whatsoever. Just use it. Feel free to practice it. So those people are your um, kind of say teacher in this case, but those people will teach you the things that you might not know before, but the things that is practical in this case. And the seventh one is the make a head rack or the words and build on it. See how words are related and how they fit together in a certain way. And keep a list or book of your new words. So this kind of thing that you have learned, make sure you also put some notes on that. And then by the end of the day, you have to review it again in order to make you remember that. Don't just let it pass. Because sometimes you know that words and then you use it a lot, but by the end of the day you forget about that because you don't really use them let's say in a regular basis, but you exactly know what does it mean. So exactly the same. And the last but not least is that look at where you make your mistakes. So sometimes people will make a mistake again and again and again because they don't learn about that. So make sure that you learn from your mistakes and where you make mistakes, and please don't repeat it again and again and again. And just like the quote says that even a donkey will not drown to the same hole, right? So make sure that you are not even dumber than the donkey in this case. So you have to have a good understanding and make sure that you don't do the same mistakes again and again and again. So that's all of those things that might be useful for all of you, I hope. So there is no excuse for learning new languages here. So in this case, we are learning Bahasa Indonesia for all of you who are just new in these languages. I hope it's useful and see you next time.